resources on medical resources and psychology-related resources. So before we start, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about, yeah, okay. Afwan? Okay. Okay. So today we're going to speak about emotional intelligence. I need your full attention with me, so please stay focused. And if you're sleepy, it's too late now to get a cup of coffee because you're stuck here. So if you're sleepy, ask the person next to you to shake you or to pinch you to get you awake, all right? Because the topic is interesting and also informative. When I first heard the word or the phrase emotional intelligence, the first thing that came to my mind is it just a fancy word of being stable? But it's more than that, actually. And why is emotional intelligence important in our lives? So, for example, I'd like you to think with me, if you have an aspiration to become a teacher, or an aspiration to become an engineer, or any other profession, you'll have to have certain learning abilities in your head. We call that cognitive abilities, to be able to learn these skills and to obtain these degrees, right? And when you're able to do that and you graduate and you start working the job you dreamed about, and you see a lot of people who has similar qualifications, who has similar learning abilities, what make a person stand out and what makes them don't is emotional intelligence. So it is a very important area to work on. So what is it exactly? It's the ability of us to recognize our own emotions and to regulate them, to be aware of relationships of others too. So now I'd like you to think with me of a good teacher or a good boss. Between you and yourself, just picture a good boss or a good teacher and just think what made them good. And also I'd like you to think about a bad teacher or a bad boss and think with me what made them bad. Do you have a picture in your minds? Yeah? So probably what made a good teacher good is they have high emotional intelligence, and what made them bad is they don't have emotional intelligence. Do you think it's a natural gift or it's something that you can learn and grow and develop? Both. It's definitely a skill that you can learn and develop and grow. Or else, why are we here? Right? So can we make people more emotionally intelligent? Yes? Anybody says no? Yes, we have smart people in the audience. We can't actually make them emotionally intelligent. They have to make themselves emotionally intelligent. They have to act on their own skills, okay? So this is a brain picture that just simplifies that we think and we feel in two different areas of our brain. So in order for us to connect these two areas, we have to recognize our own emotions, and we have to be able to identify what triggers them. So the more you're able to do that and the more you're able to regulate, the more stronger emotional muscles you'll develop. So today is more about how to become less Homer from The Simpsons and more like Yoda. Upon researching about this topic, I stumbled upon this article. It's a Spanish article about emotional intelligence and psychological well-being in adolescents. It's very interesting, actually, because they studied about 650 kids who are aged 12 to 17 they gave them two kinds of questionnaires. One is a happiness questionnaire, and one is a measurement tool of emotional intelligence. And they tried to correlate, does emotional intelligent children have more happiness scores? And they do. So the emotional intelligence skills used emotional awareness or attention, clarity, and the ability to repair. So people who are able to recognize and like have clarity of their emotion and able to repair their emotions are more happy. And to keep things interesting, I know if you know me personally, I'm so sorry you were blackmailed into filling my survey that I shared. Thank you so much. So I did a questionnaire survey. It was distributed on social media. I included the same emotional intelligence questionnaire that was used in the study, but I didn't include the happiness scale. The reason I didn't include the happiness scale is that because it was too long, and people don't like me that much to fill in such a long questionnaire. So, and I added a few more questions to spice things up. I overall had 81 participants over a period of 1 month. I'll share some results with you. So the age group was 12 to 14, 14 to 17, 17 to 19, and older than 20. Majority was older than 20, but I had participants in different age groups. I'm sorry, it's stuck. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. So majority of my sample was female gender. And we tested various aspects of emotional intelligence. So the first thing is emotional attention among all age groups. So who do you think has more emotional attention? To be fair, more girls are in the audience too. But yes, boys scored average, but girls scored high. And emotional clarity, who do you think? They were equal. Yeah, it was actually weird because they were exactly equal. Emotional repair. Hmm? Boys. Yeah, they were both average, but boys scored a bit higher. And in emotional attention, you saw how many, like different age groups participated, right? So among emotional attention, who do you think got the highest score among groups? Like let's say 12 to 14-year-old girls or 12 to 14-year-old boys or whatever groups, boys or girls. Make any wide guess. Above 20? Okay. There you go. Good. Yes, they were more emotionally attentive. I'm aware that this sample doesn't reflect the general population because it's a small sample, but it's very interesting to look at the data. Emotional clarity. What age group? Above 20, girls or boys? Girls. Yeah. And finally, emotional repair. What age group? Yes. Very interesting, right? And these are the extra questions I asked. Do you believe that mental health is important? Ones who scored no, please go out if you're here. Are you seeing any mental health professional? So a quarter says yes. Are you following any mental health professional on social media? Majority said yes. Do you get emotionally triggered by content shared on social media? Majority said yes. And do you think your parents believe in mental health? And so many people gave me feedback about this question and said, well, one of my parents do, the other doesn't. So can you please clarify? And I said, both parents, if they do agree, answer yes. So she's here. Oh, hi. 4 skills of emotional intelligence. And here is the most important part of the presentation. Now I want you all to cross your arms for me. Okay? Isa, cross your arms for me, please. Okay. Okay, now try to cross it the other way. How does that feel? Uncomfortable, awkward, different? Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't feel right, right? This is how it is like to change a habit. It feels uncomfortable, but trust me, if you started crossing your arms this way, you'll get used to it. So these habits or these skills are learned, and I need you to think about them seriously and to think about areas that you can develop better in life, so because it's doable if you practice it over and over again. So I'll start with self-awareness. And self-awareness is a concept that is known since 100 years ago. And it's known by Socrates, who said, know thyself. What is self-awareness? It is the ability to recognize and understand your own emotions, thoughts, and behavior. So I'd like you to think with me now, or put a person in your mind when you see the features of a person who's not socially aware. How would they be like? And maybe you'll have some of these symptoms, or some of, not symptoms, sorry, some of these features. Always have to be the center of attention. Believe that they're always right. Woman doesn't count, huh? Frequently make negative or critical comments. Always have to be in control, impulsive, or make spontaneous decisions, unaware of their strengths and weaknesses. How commonly we see people who have less self-awareness, or we do sometimes, unconsciously maybe, have some of these behaviors. But how to overcome these and how to become more aware? Reflect regularly. Spend time journaling about your emotions and experiences. And I know, whenever I say this, even in the clinic, people roll their eyes on me because it's something that we're not used to do, to write your own emotions and to think about them. But if you do that, you'll be able to visualize your emotions, because emotions are usually internal and you don't actually pay much attention to it. By putting it on a paper, this is itself is an intervention for you to look at and to recognize and to think of different ways or possible ways of regulating these emotions. Seek feedback. So if you're in a 3-way conversation or a 4-way conversation, you can ask a trusted someone to tell you, how did you react or how did you converse with that person? Maybe sometimes you become self-absorbed, especially in a moment of, emotional trigger, or you're upset or something, and you can't always be socially or self-aware. So having someone to tell you, to give you honest feedback, but also you have to accept that feedback, is very important for you to develop this skill. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can tune in your emotions and can tune in your thoughts. And there are so many exercises that you can think about. They're available online, multiple resources, and you can practice it just for a few minutes each day. It can help you regulate. Monitor self-talk. We're always negative when it comes to our own thoughts and our own behaviors, and we're always so harsh, judging our own thoughts and our own behaviors. So I'd like you, if you do that, to take a moment and just understand that this is not very helpful and maybe you have to adapt a new way of thinking. The next one is self-management. So the first two skills are within the self. First one is self-awareness. You just recognize and you become aware. The second one is self-management. You manage these emotions and these behaviors. A person who lacks self-management is a person who's impulsive, struggling to control their emotions, unable to manage stress effectively, lacking discipline, having trouble sticking to routines or following through on commitments, inconsistent in their behavior, displaying unpredictable reactions that cause confusion in relationships. Sorry. Okay? So they're mainly the people we see who are anxious and who you can't actually predict if they're gonna be triggered or they're gonna be angry or they'll be just chill about something you shared with them. So they have to learn skills of self-management. So some tips: monitor your emotions. And I know I said journal your emotions, but this is something entirely different. When you monitor your emotions, I mean by that, you watch your reaction to different situations. So for example, if you're with a friend and you constantly leave that friend feeling distressed or heavy-chested, then you have to recognize these emotions and you have to think what triggered this reaction in me. Not necessarily in any relationship, even in a meeting or in any other setting. If you just felt triggered by something, I want you to just recognize what happened there and to understand it, reflect on it, and then try to resolve it. Develop coping strategies. And again, it depends on your personality, on who you are, what you're interested in, but exercise, mindfulness, deep breathing, or doing your hobbies can definitely help you regulate your emotions. Stay flexible. Be open to change and willing to adapt your plans as needed. So just pause before saying no and try to be as flexible as possible with people around you. Limit impulsive behavior. Again, pause before reacting. Take a moment to consider the consequences of your action. This is my favorite one: becoming socially aware. Social awareness is the ability to understand and empathize with other people. And this is very important in building relationships and maintaining healthy ones. Key components of social awareness: the first one is empathy. And I remember one time I had a professor who just randomly asked me this question, and he said, "Meha, do you want people to love you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "You have to love them." It's simple, I know, but it's very deep if you think about it. Empathy, when I say empathy, I don't mean to be faking empathy or acting empathetic. No, actually putting yourself in the shoe of other, actually thinking of what this person is going through. And then social perception. Social perception is trying to read the cues, social cues, body language, and read the room, you know, and sensitivities to societal issues. So be aware of some cultural norms and cultural abnorms while engaging in a conversation, because sometimes you can say something that could be taken as offensive to the other person. So that is not very helpful in relationships. Active listening. See how big it became? Because we talk more than we listen. And active listening is very important. So this, I think if I choose one take-home message from today's talk, it will be, please be a better listener. Even if you are a good listener, be a better one. Even to yourself, yes. Ways to improve social awareness: spend more time observing, asking, and listening, and always be curious of the other person who's speaking to you. Maintain eye contact. Eye contact is very powerful. Give the speaker your full attention. Everybody, I have your attention. You're good listeners. Playback and summarize. So this is very helpful, especially when you think you might misunderstood what the person said. You can rephrase it and tell them, oh, did you mean that this what actually happened? And they can reflect back by feeling like, oh, they understood me. Avoid judgments and read the body language and educate yourself about different cultural norms. The last skill is use awareness to manage relationship. So relationship management is the ability to build, maintain, and enhance positive relationships with others. A person who lacks relationship management is a person who has poor communication skills, have frequent conflicts, difficulty building trust, isolated, and frequently feels alienated in any group, inability to cooperate, especially in teams or in meetings. They just shut down. They just want to be in their own bubble. They frequently blame others. Okay? But how to improve that? How to move forward? Enhance communication skills, practice clear and effective communication, learn conflict resolution techniques. There are so many, and you can read about them, you can educate yourself about them. Build trust and be consistent, honest, and reliable. I think keeping your integrity and keeping a standard of who you are as a person can build trust in your relationships. And practice teamwork, even if it feels uncomfortable. Be open to questions, be open to other ideas other than the ones you believe are true, and reflect on interactions. So again, after conversation, take time to consider how you can improve future interactions. What is the best place to do that? To reflect and imagine the conversation and imagine yourself, yes, in the shower, definitely. And I would like to conclude with this very nice quote by Dr. Daniel Goleman. He says, if you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. And that's it. So I welcome any questions you have. Yes? Okay. Sorry.
So my question is regarding empathy. So there are times where I know that this situation I have to be empathetic, but it's something like I cannot imagine or I've never been there. So I can't fully feel like that thing, but I know what to say. So how can we make ourselves actually feel those things that we're saying?
Yeah. So you're saying that, okay, you react in a good way, in an empathetic way, but you don't necessarily feel this way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to actually feel the person's experience, right? And even in therapy, we are careful with wording. We can't say, I feel you, because you don't. You can't actually 100% feel that person. You can say, I imagine that what you're going through is really hard, and you're imagining it by being empathetic in your response, which is really good. But if you truly felt what they're feeling, you'd maybe end up in depression, or it's it's a
Too much.
protective, yeah, it's a protective way that God made us not feel everything around us. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Here in the front.
Sorry, I have a question here.
I can't see you. Okay, hi.
Hello, thank you for this presentation. My question is, how can we control our facial expression whenever we like in a relationship? How can we control this facial expression? Because I suffered from this a lot. Whenever I'm being angry, I'm showing anger. Whenever I'm being sad, I'm showing sadness, either with the happiness as well, happy mood. So how can we control such feelings? Thank you.
It's a very tricky one because everybody is different. Some people are masters in mask face. I'm not. I'm just like you. Whenever someone is sad, you will see me as if I'm crying with them. And I got this feedback a lot. Even when people are observing me in my clinic, they would ask me, Doctor, are you crying? But I'm not, but I'm just tuning in with them to a point that my facial expressions are mirroring theirs. So I don't think it's a negative thing. But when you said, yeah, it's when you're angry, when you're sad and you don't want to show it,
Yes.
that's when you don't want to react this way. I think it's just try to self-regulate, try to take some deep breath. Being aware of this as an issue is itself a step forward. That you're aware that, okay, my facial expressions are gonna expose me. So
It's especially during work, actually, whenever you get anger or you get like disappointed from something. So directly it will be shown in your face. That's the main thing.
yeah, so recognizing is one thing, and then maybe some deeper breathing, take a break, you can do that. If you feel it's too much, just excuse yourself, go to a washroom, just calm yourself down, wash your face and go back to the situation. If it's too hard to deal with and you can't control your emotions and it might be perceived negatively on you or your personality.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I have a question. Can you just give me a few examples of conflict resolution techniques which you think is more important or relevant in both workplace and in family?
Okay, conflict resolution techniques. First of all, being an active listener. So if you have, like, for example, family members, two family members who are, gonna tear themselves apart, or two co-workers who can't stand themselves. One of the conflict resolution techniques is having a buffer in this interaction. Somebody who is neutral, not their boss, or not somebody that can lean to one direct or another, to just facilitate the conversation and to reflect on what each side is saying.
Hi,
Hi, hello.
kindly, I need to know how to deal with the people I cannot trust them because they always lying on me, especially in the teamwork. How I can deal with them?
How can we deal with people who are lying and they constantly do that? Is that the question? Yeah. So I think there is no right way to do that. However, my own way might be not the right way, but being direct and being very transparent in interacting with them. So for example, they lied about doing a job that they didn't do, okay? So I will have short sentences. Did you actually do it or not? To corner to get the answer correctly. and not necessarily in a harsh way or in a bad way, but just for you to understand. But maybe they will lie again because it's a habit. But you just, you know, communicate. And maybe if they said, yes, I did it, and they don't, and you can say, I don't think you did. Maybe this person did it, and have an open conversation. I know it's very difficult to generalize because people are different, and maybe they will react differently because I don't know them. Maybe if I know them, I can advise you in a better way. But generally, I like communication. I don't like to keep anything in my heart against anybody. So if I don't like something in somebody, I'll try to make them know it in a way or another. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
How can I deal with the person who is not emotionally intelligent? In
Invite
general
them.
terms, if I have to deal with him on a daily basis.
Invite them to my lecture. No, really, seriously, it's a skill that they can develop. You can educate them. You can tell them about a lecture. You can get them a book.
No, suppose I'm not entitled to do that. I need to know the techniques to deal with a person who is not emotionally intelligent to minimize the damages.
Okay, I get you. I think trying to be skilled at your own emotional intelligence make you more communicative or more understanding or non-judgmental, or trying to be a better, I don't know, a better way to deal with this person. I think I need one-to-one sessions with everybody because I can't generalize an advice like this. But no, confrontation is always harsh. I don't like confrontation. Just redirect the confrontation to
Or maybe
something,
if I ask the
yeah,
question.
less confrontation.
I have a question here. Hey, how
Hi.
are you? I would ask you a question like how to deal with people with high sensitivity that take everything personal. Because sometimes like you want to have this, you want to keep the relationship, but at the same time you get bothered every time you have to explain yourself and you have to like walk in an egg like shelled because of that, the high sensitivity.
Yeah, it can be a really tricky one. Because, you know, people with extra sensitivity, people who are very sensitive, we can't say that they're immature or they're, you know, they lack anything. People feel emotions differently. And, you know, we talk about this in psychology as well. Like some people, you know, you feel the air when it comes to you, the fresh air, you feel it like a breeze, like a nice feeling. Some people who are very emotionally vulnerable, they will feel it as if they have burned skin and they have a breeze on them, you know? It hurts them so bad. So we can't actually feel what they're feeling. They're very sensitive to any word. So if they mean a lot to you, just try to be, I think, as thoughtful as you can in communicating, and also suggest them to get help. Jamila, you had a question.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. Hi.
Hi. Actually, I have two answers for two questions.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the first one that asked like how to control your face expressions. Actually, you don't have to show it, and you should always bring back some good memory that you had with this person. And we all have a positive and negative sides. So try to think about this person positively. And at the end of the day, it's only work, and we are all going home. So maybe you can change like outside, but you have to deal with this person. So no way to say there is problem with this person. So because you will be dealing with him every day, and that make things worse. So just think positively, and the good things in this person, bring back some good memories that you had with. So that makes things easier. And for the second question, that you are emotionally intelligent, but you're dealing with a person that they don't have. If you are emotionally intelligent enough, so you will know how to deal with these persons as well, because you are emotionally intelligent. So it's logic, like you have to be at the same level with these persons,
Yeah.
and just make them hear what they need or what they want.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah. Here it is. Oh, sorry. Hi, sorry. Okay, fire.
Enhance our emotional intelligence. And the third is what books.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think the mic wasn't working, so I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna tell people your questions. The first one is how mindfulness can help us with emotion.
Mindfulness and emotional intelligence connect.
Yeah, how? Yeah.
In my opinion, they're the same.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so mindfulness is about being present in the moment. So practices that you just focus on the moment right now, and whatever thought comes in, you recognize it and you try to distract it away. There are so many practices about mindfulness. How they're connected, it's because emotional intelligence is all about being able to recognize your own emotions, being able to control these emotions, and working on relationships with others as well. So when you're mindful, you're more calm, you're more able to recognize these thoughts that comes to your head, not necessarily bad thoughts, even good thoughts. So you'll be more able to understand and recognize your own thoughts and patterns of thinking. The second question was, what are some good practices? So mindfulness can be as simple as sitting on a mat for 10 minutes, just thinking of nothing. It could be as simple as that, and it could be so advanced as well. So being present in a moment, like for example, taking a meal, okay? So in this week, I'm gonna pay attention to the food I eat, okay? So it's like recognizing the texture, recognizing the taste, being present in the moment without your own thoughts, or thinking about spaces. So whenever I'll change my space, I'll go to an elevator, I'll just have this sense of just focusing on the environment and not my own thoughts. Because what we do is we walk in and we think, oh my God, I'm late. Oh my God, I'm gonna be, you know? So being able to have this mindfulness, to be recognizing the places, to see the beauty in things, can actually regulate your emotions. The third question, I forgot. Books. So on emotional intelligence, I started reading Dr. Daniel Goleman. He has 4 books on emotional intelligence. I started reading the one that is titled Emotional Intelligence. It's good so far. I didn't finish it. I didn't have the time, but it's good. And I think people recommended it to me because he wasn't the one who coined the term, but he's the one who made this term famous. He wrote books on it, he did researches on it, so I recommend his books. I think it was in the 1970s or something. I'm not sure who exactly, or actually the 1920s. It was as early as that. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes,
Can I
hi.
ask?
Yes, sure.
Thank you, Dr. Maha.
Yeah,
Very
welcome.
interesting topic.
Thank you.
First of all, 2 messages I will definitely take is the active listening. It's a skill that we need really to work on. And the other one is that we need to be gentle in ourselves when we are reflecting what happened, and not to be harsh, to
Yes.
judge ourselves. Now, when it comes to emotional intelligence, it comes in my mind that it's the way how to build the healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say when we are in social life, if you are in very tough discussion, the technique of withdraw, maybe it can be acceptable in certain situations, because if you do it يعني, with your own friends, family, they understand who you are. But if you are talking about in a professional life, it will be considered as a profession. My question is how we can, because you mentioned that you need to be self-aware,
Yes.
and you know that this discussion, it's not productive, and it takes another direction, and how we can withdraw ourselves if we felt that this discussion start to trigger something, it can bring the worst of us. So we want to withdraw in a professional way without leaving any negative feedback. Is there any technique to do such things?
Well, I myself, I face this every now and then.
So it's healthy and normal.
It is
I mean,
normal,
it's
not
normal.
healthy, yeah.
It's normal.
It's normal to be faced with these challenges at workplace, especially. I'll tell you what I do. I think of something else. I redirect my thinking because I know the end result of this communication. So I don't invest my emotions in it. I just observe and think about
I think it
something
will
else.
work
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
just keep silent and quiet
Yeah.
without giving any feedback from
Yeah.
your
And you
side.
can say interesting because it can mean both positive and negative.
I wasn't thinking it. I'll practice it. Thank you.
Give me feedback. Any more questions?
Hi. So my question is not about us adult, about my child. My boy, he's amazing in emotions. He can feel everything. He can love people, love things, love animals. But the point is how to support him to be more strong. Like he can get emotional very easily. Like when he's happy, he will cry, and when he's sad, he will cry very easy. He have a great heart, but when to go to with people, he's always shocked with them. Why they are so harsh? Why people like say this to others? Why they like how to? I don't want to show. يعني,
You like the way he is, but you're scared for him. 'Cause he's
yeah,
very sensitive.
how to make him stronger, like in life.
Yeah.
And I will never want to change him because I think يعني, he's a diamond in this world. يعني. But how to protect him and let him like see himself as a priority and see like things that we see it normal. He's يعني, he's how to help him like to see it as normal, how to strengthen him in leadership and social skills.
Okay. Thank you so much. And he sounds a very lovely boy.
Yeah, he is.
And I think the short answer to this is we need to implement emotional intelligence skills even in schools, even for young children. We have to tell them to recognize their emotions. So if you see him happy and he's crying, you can have a conversation with him. How do you feel, Mama? What does it make you feel? Is it a nice feeling that you're feeling, or is it a bad one? Why are you crying? You know, make him aware of his own emotional reaction to his own emotions. That is step one. Step two is also, you know, I think life will also teach him because we learn by experiences too. We were all kids once and we were fooled 100 times until we knew what is right or wrong and how to trust people. I know as mother that you're scared. I know that you want to protect his golden heart.
Yeah.
But we can't do that all the time. He has to learn the hard way sometimes.
How to help him make himself as a priority?
So he's a selfless boy. He always prioritizes others.
When they are sad, when they are sick, he will never think about himself.
Okay, so he would think about people. Yeah. And that is a very nice feature of him. He's a very thoughtful person. I know you want him to think of himself, but I don't think we should shut this feeling that he's very empathetic, it seems.
He is.
Naturally.
Yeah.
He's gifted. And I think with time, he will start thinking of himself too. Maybe you should tell him, like, think about yourself too and encourage him to do that. But honestly, I think it's a wonderful feature that he's empathetic naturally. And we should enhance that in the right way. So, for example, make him think of how to help poor, how to, feel for them, how to donate his toys or all the clothes, to make this empathy grow further and to direct it in the right way. Yes.
My question probably builds on that actually, and I'm interested in emotional intelligence in organizations. And what I observe is that many organizations have a kind of male archetype which doesn't value emotional intelligence, and actually values strength, decision making, and sometimes emotional stupidity. And I'm interested in the quote you have there from Daniel Goleman to say that actually emotional intelligence helps successful individuals. I was curious as to whether organizations, teams, and systems are also advanced by having emotionally intelligent leaders. And if that is the case, why is that not exhibited in organizations that we see succeed?
I think I read throughout my research while preparing for this topic that 90% of world leaders scored high on emotional intelligence. So it is a parameter of success. Definitely, it is researched, it is evidence-based. Why is it not taken, seriously in certain organizations? I think we sometimes lag behind, and maybe with time people will understand that this is something that we can really test for in interviews rather than just looking at the CV of a person. But then if that was implemented, everyone can fake emotional intelligence too, so that's very tricky too. But yeah, thank you so much. Any more questions?
Hello.
Hi.
So it's more about a global question. I just want to know how to be like emotionally intelligent in terms of the news, and mainly all the conflict is happening recently. It's touching all the human aspect of me. I feel a lot of anxiety on a daily basis. So I'm not sure how this needs to be done in a way that I can balance it, because apparently I cannot be disconnected from reality. But also, like, I don't want to be like feeling horrible all the time. So I'm not sure if there is any advices for me, and maybe some other people who are interested to know.
Thank you so much. And it's very hard. It is very hard, even for me. Like, I need advice too, because what's going on in the world, it's not fair. You see a lot of kids, you see a lot of hate, a lot of war, unnecessary blood being shed, and it hurts everybody. And I feel what you feel too. Like, it affects me on a deeper level too. So what I do, not necessarily the best advice, but I try to at least minimize the exposure to this. Similar to when we were exposed to COVID-19. The more you read about it, the more it triggers your anxiety, and the more it will control your life. So being informative about the situation is important. I can't tell you, no, shut the news down, never listen to anything like this, always listen to positive podcasts. No, you can't shut yourself off reality. So I think balance it. Try to avoid looking at the news every single time. Make a certain time for you to be updated on the news. Fix that time. and try to help, because we are very helpless of what's happening in the world. So even a minor contribution to that cause can make you feel a bit better, I think. Any more questions? Yeah. Okay, can we have a mic here, please? Thanks so much.
I just tried one thing because,
Regarding your question.
yeah, it was so difficult for me to keep watching the news and don't feel in pain after that. So the only thing I tried to do it just to stop watching the news before sleep.
Okay.
Because it was really so stressed, and I don't have enough sleep or good sleep during the night if I just watch it before going to sleep. I watch it during the day because I have a lot of distracted way, like during my work or during my life. So at least just stop watching before going to sleep. And sometimes I feel that it's fine if we cry. We are also people and we need to express our feeling. Yani.
Definitely. Thank you so much. No, what?
I want to comment in here that I think the better way is to filter the news that we are hearing.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to sensitive news, reliable resources and enough, and to look at the positive side of the other things. And as you mentioned, that if you contribute, maybe it can make the feeling of guilt a little bit better. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I am as a PR specialist and media. I want to tell everybody who's sitting here that don't believe what's happening in the news. Because most of them, it's يعني
You
not.
scared me at the beginning. I thought you would say, don't believe her.
No. I'm talking about the media because really what's happening or what we are watching the half. We are not watching the truth.
Yes.
This is number one. Number two, as a psychologist also, I want to tell everyone before you are sleeping, just dream what you are looking in the future, want to be. Don't see something that make you sad, make you unhappy. Okay, because when you wake up in the next day, it will be your mood will be in the negative way.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you so much. Any more questions?
Can emotional intelligence as well, not just only humans, can also be empathic to animals as well?
Yeah, empathy definitely can be generalized to animals too. You mean us being empathetic to animals? Is that your question? Yeah, I think definitely. And we always encourage, if the child, for example, doesn't have any allergies or anything, having a pet make them empathetic. And, pets are always a good way to connect, to be cared for, because they're sometimes helpless and they need you. So you can feel for them, the hunger, the care, and stuff like that. And I think it's a wonderful way of practicing empathy by taking care of a pet.
What about killing them for food?
That's a very controversial subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that it is cruel, but that is life. All I can say. Any more questions? Yeah, can you please? You have another question, dear? Do you have another question? Yeah? Okay. Sorry, the mic is not working. No, I'll come closer.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So my question is, it's quite novice, is that how to be emotionally intelligent towards women as a heterosexual.
Well, active listening, my brother, number one. Number two, girls, help me out. Hmm? The interesting technique, even if you're not interested, you just say, oh, wow, interesting. Yeah. You just imagine that she's talking about football. You know, something of your own interest. Yeah.
Two things are different. So actually, I believe that understanding that women is different than men and they react in a different way and they feel the emotions in different way is the way that you can deal with women. So just accepting the fact that they are different and accepting their emotions and the way they're dealing with you.
My answer was simpler.
The different are men are straightforward, where ladies, they want you to guess. If you, what they said, if you care, you know, or something like that.
Any more questions? Yeah. No, let everybody hear you.
And I would like to help a person who is very difficult to accept the reality. And whenever the person faces the difficulties, try to escape and not to face the problem. So in this situation, how should I help? Yeah.
You're welcome. So how can we help a person who runs away from difficulties and they don't recognize that they have a problem? I think being there is one step. Having support of friends and family, having people that they trust around them, and maybe slowly introduce the idea that they need some help. You know, it could be as simple as, you know, just going for one session to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, just one session, and see how things go. No pressure. If you don't like it, we'll stop. If you like it, we'll continue. You know, I think it should be really on a slow pace. Yeah, not to push things, but to be there for them, to feel that you really want them to get better and to support them. Yeah. It's a difficult situation. Yeah.
Hi, I have a comment on that. I face situations like this on some occasions. I think it's better to start, for me, from my experience, what I tried, is I started with something that my own experience, something I suffer from, something I try to escape from, even if it's not real. Sometimes I'm quoting from someone else's life. But it is an opening, make them feel they're not the only one who feel there's something wrong with their life. Make yourself feel vulnerable to them. It can break down the shield that they built around. Slowly, like in general, I'm talking about myself, even my friend or something, and then I start with one problem, and then I go to the next, which is similar to their problem. Start a conversation like this, then end it. Then on another occasion, start with that again, and then go slowly directly into that direction.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sure. Mike? Any more questions?
When something happens, like very sad, I heard that there are phases that any person should go through. But do you believe that if someone is emotionally intelligent enough, can he, it's not about skipping, but maybe move fast in a phase and like reach the very last one, which is accepting. Because like I know someone who went through something very sad and I was there with them, but I felt they skipped it really fast. They just went for accepting and they kept saying, I understand it and I accept it. So is it true that they reached it this fast or they are still in the very first phase?
I think, yeah, the grief response to loss or to something really sad happening to anybody, it has 5 stages: depression, bargaining, anger, isolation, and then, acceptance. And then being emotionally intelligent or not, you're vulnerable to grief, and you have everybody have a different way to react to grief, and depends on how much that loss means to you. That's a factor. Some people will be ranging or going through all stages in one day. So in the morning they will be like, oh, I'm sad, I'm depressed, and then in the afternoon they can be really angry, like, why this happened to me? But then they will, it will fluctuate. The older studies were saying that we go to these stages at this pace and at this time. But the recent studies showed no, we actually go through them throughout the days, okay? Not necessarily one thing or another. Some people will be in denial, and it will hit them after a period of time. So we don't know if that person was very able to get over that loss and really truly accepted it, or they're masking it. We don't know that. Only that person knows, or maybe doesn't know even. Maybe it's some subconscious way of coping to be in a denial that I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm accepting it, but then one time it will hit them. Hopefully not.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions? No more questions. Are you sure, guys? Thank you so much. شو؟ شو؟ سمعت الصورة؟